Coming up, how sports betting apps can affect your mental health.
And how a crash Saturday morning shocked those on the Strip.
I either send him an inspirational quote. I think today was short and sweet. I just said, leave it all on the floor.
Some of the Vols' biggest cheerleaders from the start. Grayson, it's game day, and our Vols are in the Sweet 16, and we actually have 3 reporters live in Chicago covering this game.
We do, and we also have a team live at the airport keeping you updated on flights to Chicago if you're planning on catching maybe a last-minute flight to the game tonight. But before we get to basketball, we have some breaking news.
Welcome to TVC News. I'm Luke Lamery.
And I'm Grayson Thatcher. A lot is happening across campus this week. A scary scene early last Saturday morning when a car crashed on Cumberland Avenue as students were heading home after a night out. Now, you've probably seen this video across social media this week. Thankfully, nobody was hurt.
Yeah, thankfully indeed. Our Kaylee Smith is live on the Strip where the crash happened to show us that damage. Kaylee, what do you got?
Thanks, guys. Take a look at some of the damage on the Strip. We have this light pole here. There's some electrical hanging out the ground. We have a tree that was destroyed. We've got a bench that was also destroyed. We've got this tree, this massive tree that fell down on Cumberland Avenue right after the crash happened. Some of the debris from the car hitting Cumberland Food Hall, destroying some of the glass windows. We also have the car ended up on the other side of Cumberland Avenue. I spoke with a few people who saw the accident happen. Let's hear from them.
We heard the loud speed of a car revving its engine. Saw the car hit one side of the road, go to the other, and then hit the tree. The tree went flying in the air.
I heard the loudest car engine going down. It just kept getting louder and louder and closer. I was about 5 feet from the door, going to reach for it, and I just saw a white flash go straight across my face with a big old cloud of dust.
Students said the police arrived soon after the crash happened. The police responded around 3:13 Saturday morning to the Cumberland Avenue 19th Street intersection. Parker Fegans was working at a hot dog stand at the time of the crash.
It was just a miracle that nobody got hurt. About 15 minutes before, I'd had a crowd of 20 people standing right where he came through.
Students walking the Strip, the driver and the passenger were uninjured.
We were tired, but if we had actually stood there and sold the last 8 hot dogs that I had, at least one of us would have been seriously injured.
Michael Faragalli was getting food near the crash.
If DPDO was any quicker, 10 seconds quicker with my order, I would have been out here and flattened like a pig. This is exactly my pathway home. I would have been walking right in the line of fire.
Boston West, 19, and John Yates, 21, are facing multiple charges after the accident.
They had immediately got out of the car and started walking away like they weren't even the suspects.
Boston West being charged with evading arrest, driving under the influence, unlawful drug paraphernalia, and more. John Yates being charged with evading arrest and public intoxication. Now, Yates and West are set to appear in court on Monday. I will keep you in the loop as updates come in. Live on the Strip right now, Kaylee Smith, TVC News.
Thank you, Kaylee. And we also learned that these damages, it was $5,000 worth of damages. It's going to take the city about 5 to 6 months to replace everything at that scene.
And you heard Kaylee, just truly a miracle. Nobody was hurt or even worse in that just unbelievable accident. Just crazy scenes on the Strip.
Absolutely. Now, on March 18th, a UT student was arrested in Fraternity Park in front of the BYX house on charges of sexual exploitation of a minor.
TVC obtained the official police report on this case and reached out to UTPD and the executive director of BYX for statements. Now, Gabe McKinney, BYX executive director, said in a statement that BYX holds its members to high standards of conduct. BYX is deeply troubled to learn of the charges against this member and is taking immediate steps to suspend him from fraternity housing and activity.
Now, at the University of Tennessee, students have access to several resources if they experience sexual assault.
Yeah, we're going to go over to Caitlin Kirkpatrick. She's dug into this a little bit. Caitlin, tell us what you know.
Yeah, guys, I was able to sit down with a member of the counseling department, and she told me that there are more options at the Title IX office than students may think. Take a look.
Going to the Title IX office if you're wanting to file a report is what most people think of, but oftentimes it's also just like a place that you can obtain other resources and you have more say in some ways over, you have more say than people realize in terms of what path it takes.
With Title IX, students can choose whether to move forward with a formal complaint, seek supportive measures, or simply gather information. Additional resources, including counseling and confidential advocacy services, are also available on campus. Now, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so I will be keeping this story along during the month, so stay tuned for that. That's all I have for now. Back to you guys at the desk.
Caitlin, thank you. We'll be sure to be tuned in for more of that coverage. Thank you.
Now, congratulations to the newly elected student government leaders who took part in the 2026 student government elections. It was announced last night. The results were announced right in front of the torchbearer, Luke. It was pretty exciting.
You got it. Our student body president will be Caroline Marcus. Our student body vice president will be Anna Elizabeth Thompson. And then it's Cade Garrett Simmons is the speaker of the Senate, Grayson.
Exciting time for UT.
You got it.
Well, the Vols are set to take on Iowa State tonight in Chicago, and our team is on site with all the coverage that you might need.
Let's first head to Chicago with Alexi Cowan and Sophie Starkey for a look ahead to today's game. Guys?
Welcome to the Windy City in Chicago. We're here at the Palmer House, the tent where the Tennessee team is staying, and it's a beautiful environment. So fun.
Someone we've seen quite a bit here is some of the moms on Tennessee's basketball team. These guys have been with them from the beginning, from their first AAU tournament to now. I actually got to sit down with a couple of them last week to see what March Madness looks like from a mother's eyes.
Before the bright lights of March Madness, there were early mornings, long drives, and one constant through it all: Mom.
I think at 5 years old, he told me he was going to be 7 foot tall and play D1 basketball at 5. And I'm like, honey, probably not going to happen. Dad's 6'2", Mom's 6'4". My mother-in-law is 5 foot. I'm like, I don't think, and I think he's willed himself into being a 7 foot D1 basketball player.
Long before the packed arenas, these moms saw it first. From their first AAU tournament all the way through high school, they believed their sons were capable of something special.
When he went into middle school for his orientation, he looked around the gym and he said, I'm going to put some banners up in here. And he did. He put 2 banners in there. When he went to Myers Park High School, his junior year, he transferred schools, and he said, I want to win a state championship for these seniors. And he did. I always tell Bishop, like, 5th grade Bishop would be geeking out right now at what sophomore Bishop's about to do in college.
But the journey to Division I basketball isn't just about the players. These moms have formed a team of their own.
We meet for dinner, we meet for different activities and just get to talk, because being a D1 mom, everybody dreams of and thinks it's going to be great, but it's very stressful, and it brings a lot of emotion because you want your child to do so well, because sometimes people say things and on social media, and they don't realize what they're going through on a day-to-day. So it is great to have a group of moms that are all going through the same thing at the same time.
A D1 mom is a different breed. I mean, a sports mom's a different breed, and then a D1 mom is a different breed.
This group has become more than just parents in the stands. They've become a support system, a group that understands the sacrifices, the stress, and the joy of watching their sons chase a dream.
I think it breaks our heart more than it breaks their heart when something doesn't go their way, because you know how bad they want it, and then you got to listen to all the people they just don't understand how hard they work.
You know, we all sit in the same section. You know, we all hang out, which is, it's nice to have your boys be all close and feel tight like family. And of course we love all the boys, but it's also nice to have those families around you, and you don't have that everywhere.
And even now, on the biggest stage in college basketball, they're still just mom, making sure their sons get a message before each game.
I send him a text to every game, and it always just ends with good luck. I try not to say a lot like, hey, you need to do this. He's getting that from his coach. I just try to be a mom and just send him just good luck, love you, praying for you, hope you do well.
I either send him an inspirational quote. I think today was short and sweet. I just said, leave it all on the floor, dominate the paint, next play mentality, and keep that team, be a connector, keep that team connected. And I love you. And I always get, I love you too, Mom.
And I just told him, you got this, you're ready. It's your time. I mean, you're going to shine. It's the time. And you got to leave it all out there.
For these moms, March Madness isn't just about winning. It's about watching a dream they've helped build come true. Reporting from Philadelphia, Sophie Starkey, TVC.
Oh, those text messages. Oh my gosh, they get to me.
I know that one got me choked up a little bit, but we've been in this hotel now. We've seen several of the moms hoping to get that Sweet 16 win tonight.
Well, if you're looking to fly to Chicago for that game tonight, there may be a longer line than you're expecting. With more from the airport, here's our Drea Peoples.
Yeah, guys, the lines here at the airport have been moving pretty steady since we have got here since this morning. As you know, it is a big travel day for Vol fans who are heading out to Chicago for tonight's Sweet 16 matchup versus Iowa State. Now, for the fans who are still heading out of Knoxville, as you can see on this board, all of the flights are still considered on time. So everything here in Knoxville is still running very smoothly. Now, the bigger concern here is the return flight from Chicago back to Knoxville. As you know, that is one of the busiest airports in the country, especially now. Travelers are dealing with longer TSA lines, pre-check lines even, especially now due to the partial government shutdown. Especially now due to the government partial shutdown. They're causing longer TSA lines. Now back here in Knoxville, airlines like Delta are having donation bins. As you can see, they're collecting everyday essential items here. There are paper towels, cotton swabs, tissue, donation cards, canned foods, everything you can name it. So when you come to the airport, make sure you check that out. Now, of course, we will be keeping an eye out on all of these flights coming back from Chicago to Knoxville. So yeah, and reporting from McGee-Tyson Airport, Drea Peoples, back to you guys.
Thank you, Drea. Very good information for all of us to have.
Absolutely, Grayson. Coming up, we'll bring you the keys to tonight's game and explain why the Vols might have a better chance than you think.
Coming up, can Tennessee make it to another Elite Eight? We will bring you the keys to tonight's matchup against Iowa State.
And Tennessee softball suffered their first loss of the season. We'll let you know how it happened when we return.
Hey grads, senior celebrations are in full swing as we near the end of the semester. Here's a couple events you can look forward to over the next couple of weeks. Welcome Wednesday will take place on April 1st in McClung Plaza by HSS Lawn and will honor seniors. Students can receive free breakfast and register when they arrive at the event. Senior Toast will take place on April 13th from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Knoxville Convention Center. This is an invite-only event for seniors who have donated to Senior Impact. Seniors who donate are also eligible for a Senior Impact Cord. Torch Night, a farewell to thee, is one of UT's oldest traditions, where graduates pledge to serve both the university and their community as loyal alumni. The event will take place on May 13th, 7 p.m. at Ayers Lawn. Finally, cap and gowns are available for purchase and pickup at the Vol Shop. Students can also purchase announcements, diploma frames, and rings. For questions about diplomas, email graduation@utk.edu. For questions about ceremony details, email commencement@utk.edu. Congrats, grads, you're almost there. And as always, go Vols.
Welcome back to TVC News. March Madness is one of the biggest sporting events for sports betting. Now, to bet on every year, not my typical cup of tea, I would have to say, Luke, but really, really popular among a lot of our peers that we've started to see.
No doubt, Grayson. But if you're betting on those games, you got to be careful because sports betting can cause a huge strain on your mental health. Here's Maggie Schwerking with more.
Whether you're heading to class or sitting in your car like me, sports betting apps are easily accessible from anywhere.
You would place a bet and it would be 1-2 o'clock in the morning. Now you're betting on Chinese baseball.
UT student Dedrick Robertson has been sports betting since his sophomore year of college.
Remember the first time I literally was sitting on my floor, like by my door, just sitting there like, no way I just did this.
Client retention manager for the gambling clinic, Keith Windsor, says that the suicide rate for gambling is 10 times higher than any other addiction.
Somebody has just gambled away their rent money and they're thinking about ending their life.
Since Tennessee legalized sports betting apps in 2019, Windsor says he's been seeing more and more young men in the clinic.
We start betting emotionally, start making bad decisions, and then the hole just gets deeper and deeper.
This is something that Dedrick has experienced firsthand.
It's a momentum ride. You know, you can be up, everything's sunshine and rainbows, and then 2-3 hours later, you feel like you just ruined your life.
Keith works with addicts daily and has shared a solution to this addiction.
So getting some help and getting some treatment's the only surefire way. You can't change behavior by blocking access and things like that. You got to change the causes that led to the addiction.
But you have to take the first step. In Knoxville for TVC News, I'm Maggie Schwerking.
Thanks, Maggie. Definitely some very important things to keep an eye on as the basketball season continues on. Now, Luke, we already know that Tennessee has a massive matchup against Iowa State tonight.
Correct. You got it. I'll tell you this. That's right, Grayson. Let's bring in Allie Campbell and Izzy Osmond. Guys, this Iowa State team, it's no joke.
Yeah, Luke, Iowa State is 29-7 on the season, and when they're hot, they're almost unstoppable.
But you can never count a Rick Barnes Tennessee basketball team out because that defense can shut out any team in the country down. There's a few more factors that are in play that might give the Vols the advantage tonight.
For more, let's head back out to Chicago with Alexi and Sophie.
So there are a couple things that have to go right for the Vols tonight to win this game. They got to win the rebounding battle and the turnover battle. Iowa State averages 16 turnovers per game. Tennessee has to find a way to stay below that margin. And then Tennessee has been dominating on the glass. Hopefully they can do that again tonight, but two guys in particular have stepped up.
Absolutely, and you named it, J.P. Estrella and Felix Okpara. Those guys are rebounding geniuses. Just last weekend in the first and second rounds, they had 28 combined rebounds. The great thing about these two guys is not only can they rebound, they can shoot a little bit too. If the three-point ball isn't working, these guys got you on the glass. They had 43 combined points in the first two rounds. That's two guys that you need to be on tonight.
And if Tennessee can maximize that front court, this game is very much within reach for the Vols.
The Lady Vols will not be in action this weekend as they fell in the first round of the NC State Wolfpack a week ago.
TVC's own Luke Lamry and Luke Attal were in attendance, and here's what they had to say after the game.
Well, regular season struggles creeping into the postseason for your Lady Vols. They'll exit the first round of this NCAA tournament with a final score of 76-61. The NC State Wolfpack take down the Tennessee Volunteers.
And it's just the third first-round exit in the NCAA tournament for the Lady Vols ever. So it's not something that you're used to seeing from them. And their struggles really started beyond the three-point arc. They shot 15% from three in the first half, and they shot 0 for 9 from three in the second quarter. So really just never got it going beyond the arc. And that's not what you've seen from the Lady Vols earlier this season.
Exactly right. Turnover's a big problem tonight, too. 18 for your Lady Vols, 23 points from the NC State Wolfpack off of those mishaps. So something they're probably going to want to turn around for next year. Speaking of next year, head coach Kim Caldwell in that post-game press conference, very honest, very blunt about her emotions, calling it this year one of the worst years of her professional career.
It was the worst year of my professional career. Our players deserve better than that from me, and you learn from that going forward, and you build with that. Exactly like Coop said, you build with that, people around you that know what we're doing and are all in.
And for some of these Lady Volunteers, this was their last collegiate game. We sat down in the locker room with Z Spearman, who gave us a very emotional reaction to her last contest as a Lady Vol.
Disappointed, you know what I'm saying? We wanted that really bad, but like I told him, it wasn't our night, you know what I'm saying? Shots was just not falling for us, honestly. But we stuck together though, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't our night.
Well, there's a lot left up to the imagination about how this season could have ended for the Lady Vols. An 8-game losing streak definitely not being the way that they would have hoped it had ended. But there's a lot that they can build on and improve going into next season. From Ann Arbor, I'm Luke Attal alongside Luke Lamry, TVC.
It was a disappointing end to a disappointing season, and the Lady Vols have already announced that they will be entering, 4 Lady Vols have announced that they will be entering the transfer portal and taking their talents elsewhere next season.
The number 4 Lady Vols softball team dropped their first SEC series of the season to number 5 Florida, snapping a 9-series road win streak dating back to 2023. Tennessee took game 1 but fell in the next 2. They bounced back with an 8-0 run rule win over Tennessee Tech. Highlighted by Aaron Newer's 3rd career no-hitter and 12th win, the Lady Vols return to SEC play against Ole Miss this weekend here in Knoxville.
Staying on the diamond, Tennessee baseball won their first SEC series against Missouri last weekend, winning 2-1. After a tough Friday loss, the Vols bounced back with strong wins Saturday and Sunday. Coach Josh Elander shook up the lineup, sparking the offense, while the pitching staff delivered. Tennessee kept it rolling with a 4-2 midweek win over USC Upstate, and will head to the Music City this weekend for an in-state rivalry series against Vanderbilt. Heading over to Luke and Grayson for an update on the Paralympics.
You got it, guys. Thank you. Yeah, we had Some of the students here at CCI, the second time in 2 years, UT Journalism sent students overseas to report on the Paralympic Games in partnership with USA Today, Grayson.
That's right, and the team consisted of 2 writers, 2 photographers, 5 videographers, and 1 producer. Our very own Alexa Durbin explains how students' international reporting experience was.
10 University of Tennessee journalism students, including myself, have had the opportunity of a lifetime to cover the 2026 Winter Paralympics right here in Milano Cortina, Italy. Here's their story.
To be there to cover them and tell their stories when, if it was not for our coverage, they would not be told. It's something that I am proud that we were able to do. I wanted to do my best to explain to people that were like me just a few short months ago that didn't know what the Paralympics were. It was pretty stressful, more so than it is covering a game on campus.
It was more physically challenging than I was anticipating, carrying around all that camera equipment up snowy mountains, and there was a moment where I almost slipped, but another photographer was there to help me out and catch me, and I was doing the same for others. But I also learned a lot, and I feel like I can tackle more in the future having experienced that now. I get a text from Alex, and he says he happened to come across his story printed in the national paper alongside my photo.
Just an incredible feeling to know that your writing is preserved in such an esteemed national publication. It honestly just fills me with a sense of awe.
My most rewarding experience was during the gold medal ceremonies, seeing the athletes being really proud of themselves. It was kind of like a I made it moment.
To be at the forefront of telling their stories, not as survivors, but as trailblazers of the Paralympic movement.
To check out all of the students' coverage, be sure to look at USA Today's website and Instagram. In Milano Cortina, I'm Alexa Durbin for TVC News.
Now, together, the students produced over 30 videos and 25 written articles. Another just outstanding achievement for the School of Journalism, Luke.
Very impressive.
Like, I think it always ties in of like, you know, a lot of people count me out or don't think that I can do it. And I have a healthy chip on my shoulder. And I'm like, watch this.
How one actor is tying his time in the ring to his new path on the stage.
The Volunteer Channel works around the clock to curate UT news, sports, and event coverage. Best way to stay on top of all of it is to follow our Instagram at TVC News Now. You can scan this QR code right here to get right to the page. All of our content is created by UT students with the Big Orange community in mind. The Volunteer Channel thanks you for your support. Go Vols.
Yeah, hey, what's up, Vols? I'm Jackson Berg. Now let's take a look at the forecast for this weekend. So we had a pretty nice start to the morning today, and through this afternoon we'll be reaching the mid to upper 70s. But we do have a cold front moving through right here, so that's going to bring some rain as well this afternoon. As we can see, this low pressure causing that rain, so could see about a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain this afternoon. So for any of those home sporting events, could be wet and also a chance of thunder. So if there is thunder, could be causing some delays with those games, including softball. But through today and tomorrow, winds will be shifting from the southwest and start coming from the north, which is going to bring that drier, colder air that is going to come through Friday night, bringing the temperatures down to 36 degrees. So definitely chilly, and wind chills on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. just under 30, only getting up to about, wind chills of 38 at 11 a.m. But Saturday going to be warming up, or staying a little bit chillier, excuse me, at those upper 50s. But then throughout the rest of the weekend, going to be warming up a little more for the beginning of next week. And so we'll keep you updated with any other weather information. Have a great weekend. That's all I have for you today. Now back to the desk.
Well, that's all we have for TVC News. Be sure to follow us on Instagram for more live updates and coverage. Actually, no, we're actually not just yet, Grayson. Not just yet.
We have a little bit more news for you.
To cut it off a little bit early.
He was ready to be done.
We've got an interesting story.
For all the things Vols and March Madness, our team is going to keep you updated on a lot of different things. But like you said, WWE is happening at the Clarence Brown Theater. Not really, but we do have someone who is a former WWE wrestler is now going to be performing on stage. Go ahead and take a look at the story.
Meet Denzel Desjardins, the newest leading man at the Jenny Boyd Theater.
I got in the theater because I used to be a wrestler for the WWE.
So this isn't his first time under the spotlight.
I was a wrestler, like a collegiate wrestler with the singlet and all that stuff, and I was an All-American wrestler.
And now he's about to make his debut performance as the leading role in the Royale tonight.
I couldn't have written it better myself, especially with a show that combines both worlds that I've been a part of, the athletic world and the entertainment world.
And for Denzel, it's all about hard work and perseverance. Values that have stuck with him through his wrestling career and his acting career.
You know, a lot of people count me out or don't think that I can do it, and I have a healthy chip on my shoulder, and I'm like, watch this.
Assistant Director Drew Drake has been working with Denzel for 3 years.
He's the person that comes here first, person that leaves, one of the folks who leave like last. So he's always putting that extra work in. And so I'm super excited for him because, again, all his hard work is paying off in this moment.
He's been working for 3 years, all leading up to his final show at UT.
Last show, this is my good riddance show, my severance package, no pun intended. It feels great. It's a culmination of everything that I've learned, all the bumps and bruises that you learn along the way, and building and working on your craft.
At the Jenny Boyd Theater, I'm Whitney Reamer, TVC News.
Well, what an interesting story. I mean, that you just wouldn't expect that. But at the same time, you look at those wrestlers and they have those acting, those theatrical skills.
I love it, and he's been working on that for 3 years, so really special that this is his way to finish things up. Now, something really special for TVC is there's a new studio now going to be available for us, thanks to a wonderful donor, John Williams. We're very excited about all of this. We were able to see the ribbon cutting earlier. There's our own Alexa Durbin there with Mr. John Williams. Again, so grateful for everything that we're going to get to do with everyone at that studio. It's going to be happening next year.
I mean, that looks phenomenal, that studio. We've got a great one right here, but maybe another one. I mean, that looks amazing.
That could mean more shows for all of our viewers at home.
That's great. That's fantastic.
All right, well, that is all that we have for you today. Again, we're going to keep you updated with all things March Madness. You make sure to follow us on social at TVC News Now and Torch Sports UTK.
For TVC News, I'm Luke Lamery.
And I'm Grayson Thatcher, and as always,
go Vols.
Go Vols.
The Volunteer Channel works around the clock to curate UT news, sports, and event coverage. Best way to stay on top of all of it is to follow our Instagram at TVC News Now. You can scan this QR code right here to get right to the page. All of our content is created by UT students with the Big Orange community in mind. Volunteer Channel thanks you for your support. Go Vols.